How many of you are aware of these things? OSI model, data link, awesome. And the layer 3 is your transport. Application layer is there, right? Application layer is there. Then we open an application. Presentation is used for your encryption and decryption, right, everyone? Decryption. And then session is to maintain the sessions over there. Session management. Transport is for your data segmentation, right? All those TCP UDPs will be used over here. Network is used for what? IP addressing and routing. We include the IP headers so that we can define the destination. Data link will be dealing with the, and physical link will be transferring your data into
The
data and analog signals, right? Transferring your signals into analog and digital thing. All right. So it will be received on the receiver side. Receiver will be receiving at the physical layer, then it moves to data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and the application layer. So everyone know OSI stands for Open System Interconnection, and it was your reference model, right? Then we introduce what? Then we introduce our TCP/IP, right? Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So this was the one which was practically implemented. So can you tell me how many layers are there in your TCP/IP? Yeah, you can say 4, you can say 5, guys. Okay, it's not something which is defined like somewhere in the documents. Okay, different readers, different authors, different articles, they represent these layer in you know different numbers. Like someone will say it's 4, someone will say it's 5, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, because it was never documented or never on papers. It was practically implemented. Everything over here is the same. If you define 4, if you define 5 years, everything will be the same. There's no difference in there, right? But it's just for the depend on the author to author how they are trying to define these things, right? That's why the layers were mentioned to 4 or into 5. So if you say 4, that's also 5. It's if you say 5, that's also fine with everyone. So the very first was your application. In your application, which layer was included? Application was there. Presentation was also there, isn't it, guys? And which layer? Session. Absolutely right. So all these three layers were included into your application layer. Then you can say, there was this network layer, or you can say any internet layer. People call it with that way also. So it included your transport and your networking layer, right? It includes these two layers in itself. Either you can expand it out or you can include it into one. That's absolutely your call. Then we had this, many people, they like to write in this way that they will mention transport, then network, then data link plus physical. If you go with the Cisco ones, I guess they have mentioned the same way. They mention the transport, then the network, and then data link slash physical altogether, right? But that's absolutely the call, your call, how you want to define it. Then there's a data link, then there's a physical link. The working is absolutely same. It just, we have included into one, and TCP/IP was never implemented. It was like never documented. It was practically implemented back in the days, so that devices can communicate with each other. And moreover, it was to just save, their connections from the uh, attacking parties or the adversaries parties, so that they can safely transmit their data to the other end. Right? All right. This was clear, right? I guess OCP, OSI model, and TCP/IP is already clear for everyone. So since these things are clear, the reason I'm moving a bit, fast into this, because these are some basic things which is like quite mandatory as well as, as per the certification curriculum. IP is there, Internet Protocol. You might have seen IP addresses, right? Everyone agrees with that, doesn't it? Who assigns the IPs to us? There's this one whole authority which is, maintaining these IPs for us. That's your INA. Router, if you talk about, this have this DHCP server which will be having holding these private IPs pool into it, and it will be providing those IPs to you. Okay, so is your IP a logical address or a physical address? So this protocol, like other such protocols, like your HTTP, TCP, UDP, is responsible for establishing a communication in most of our network, right? An IP address is a numerical label assigned to each device connected to a computer network that uses the Internet Protocol for communication, right? So if you might have seen the IPs, they look something like this. If you agree with that, for example, 192.168.1.10, something like this, isn't it? That's our IP. So if you look closely into this IP, how many octets are there? Right now, just to make you sure, we are talking about V4. So if you look closely, guys, this IP is divided into 4 octets. Reason being, I'm talking about IPs is, in certification in the exam, they might ask about the IPs as well. Like 1 or 2 questions will be there, but still they will be there. So if you can see, there's 4 octets: 1 octet, second octet, third octet, and fourth octet, right? So these octets are expanded into the how many bits? Octet contains 8 bit. Yeah, 32 in total. Absolutely. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So these octets, they are expanded in such a way, and each octet holds some, binary numbers. So you might have known 0 and 1s are over there. 0 is your powered off bit, and 1 is your power on bits, right? So suppose if I'm gonna write 1, 1, 1 in each and every octet over here, it means the value of this octet will be what? This to convert into, decimals, this is like 2 to the power 0, since the binary numbers, right? 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5. This is for same for everyone, okay? 2 to the power 6, 2 to the power 7. Similarly, 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Similar for each and every one. So if we calculate this one, it will be 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus 64 and plus 128, which gives us a total of 255, right? Which gives us the total of 255. If we add up all these things, this will be give us the maximum number of 255. That's what brings us to that thing which we call as a subnet mask. You might have seen that subnet mask as well, isn't it, guys? You know what is a subnet mask? Nope. Okay. Have you guys seen something like mentioned over here? 255.0.0.0, 255.255.0.0. So initially we have this, subnet mask which you have to play around, right? Just to give a quick overview into this one. So since you mentioned these are the classes, right? So IPs are what? These are divided into classes, right? IPs were divided into classes, right? So we had your IP in, let's say there was class A, there was class B. I'll be asking about the ranges as well. Then we had class C. So generally we deal with class A, B, and C. D and E are also there, but we do not deal with these D and E. So if I talk about the ranges, guys, what is the range for class A? So you say 1 from 1 to 122, 191. For class C, 242 to 55, right? The maximum we can go for is a 255. So guys, when I mentioned this one, it means one from 1.0.0.0 till your 126.25.25.25. Okay, that's how we write these numbers. So if you notice, anyone who can tell me why didn't we add up the 0 and 127 over here? If you notice in class A, we have mentioned from 1 to 126.
Yeah.
So why didn't we mention 0 as well as 127? Someone else is what also mentioned something over there.
And
0 is not a network ID. Yes. Okay. That is your default gateway. All right. And if you want to talk about 127, absolutely that stands for your loopback IP. It is to check whether your TCP IP is properly implemented in your NIC or not. All right. That's the reason we do not include it. Many places you will be including class A for 0 to 127, but we generally, do not include that in class A. And just to talk about class D and E, that is just for multicasting and experimental purpose only. So as I said, since we are not using these things, class D and E, I can prove that to you. For that, all I need to do is open my settings, go with the network shade center. Ethernet is there. Oh, I have to do what? Let's see if it's giving an option over here. Yeah, so as soon as I write 224, can you see the message over here? It says 224 is not a valid entry. Please specify a value between 1 and 223. So if you can see over here, now do you agree with this thing that we only deal with class A, B, and C, right? So similarly, we have subnet mask for class A, class B, and for class C as well, guys. Okay, we have subnet mask for the same. So in this subnet mask, if you can see this, the 255 which I have written, they define your network range, you can say the network ID, and the rest like 000, they define what? They define your so if I take an example of this IP again, can you tell me this IP falls under which class? Class C, right? Obviously it stands for class C. And the subnet mask for your class C is your, so subnet mask was 255.255.255.0. Awesome. So if you look closely, as I mentioned, these three guys where the 255 is mentioned, it represents your network ID. Okay. Yeah. And this will be representing your host ID. Like, if I say, if I'm giving an IP of 192.168.1, it means, I am giving this whole range. And let's say if you're having an organization, I'm just talking about the stateful scenario right now. Let's say if you're having an organization and you have only 30 employees, for example, you have only 30 employees. So what you will do, you will ask for an IP range. I will give you the whole IP range. With this stateful, the reason, the disadvantage was that you have the whole range from 0 to 255. It was a disadvantage over here. Because if you're asking for an IP range, I will be providing you this range, and now you're utilizing, whole from 0 to 255. Now, as I mentioned, if you have an organization and you have only just 30 employees, aren't you wasting a lot of IPs over here? So since you're wasting a lot of IPs, that was the reason we moved down to your CIDR notation, which Parinita was also talking about, right? Classless inter-domain routing. Now we can play around with these subnet masks also. You can see subnet masks are calculated in this way. So if we talk about CIDR, it has our classless inter-domain routing. So with this, we try to save the IPs and we are trying to play around with the this our subnet mask. So in CIDR notation, you might have seen, guys, whenever we write this thing 255.0.0.0, have you ever noticed that after that slash 8 is mentioned? Ever notice this thing? Anyone? So for class A, you can say for the 255, this slash 8 represents what? The number of power on bits. Okay, the number of power on bits. Reason being, if I write, this thing something like this, if you can see this 255, this thing, if I write and expand this thing for the first one I'm talking about, the class A, so it will be like this, guys. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot. Since four octets are there, only first octet is filled up, right? So it means 255. If you remember, we calculate 255 by filling the whole octet with the power on bits, right, guys? Filling the whole octet with the power on bits. So similarly, for this one, what we will do is, guys, we will simply write 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 and 1, and rest of the things will be what? It will be your 0. That will be defining your 255.0.0.0. So now tell me what will be for the next one. For this, what will be the scenario? Second octet will be also filled up with the powered on bits. We will be mentioning 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 over here as well, and rest of the will be a 0. So the reason I told you about bits is because if you remember now /8 for the very first one, /8 means the powered on bits now, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's why I wrote /8 over here. So similarly, if I write about 255.255.0.0, it will be having slash how much, right? And the same if I asked about 255.255.255.0, it will be your /24. Okay, so this was the thing, like, you can play around with these notations actually. So guys, if I say you have to calculate something, like, something, as in I want you to calculate a subnet mask for the /12. If I want you to calculate a subnet mask for the /12, what it will be? Can you tell me what is the subnet mask for /12? My fonts are small. So just to tell you how we got so far into 240 for this particular answer is because I mentioned it's /12, right? It's /12. So I will do what? I will first stretch out all the octets over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. Now, if I mention /12, it means the number of powered on bits, right? So let's count it out. And always remember, when you are counting the number of powered on bits, always count it from left to right. Okay, left to right, as in for the very first octet, we'll go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The rest of the things will be 0. Rest of the things will be your 0. Now we have to calculate the subnet mask for this one. So if you remember, for the very first one, since all of them are our powered on bits, so it is equals to 255, right? If you remember over here, when you fill the whole powered on bits, it is resulting in 255. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate for this particular section where only 4 powered on bits are there. So if you remember, for this we have 1 as a value, right? 1 is here, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, right? This is how we filled it up: 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So all you need to do is just add these numbers, which are for the very first 4, the powered on bits. So if we add them all, it results in giving us the 240, and rest will be a 0. So new subnet mask is our 255.240.0.0. There's one more thing in this one. Uh, Actually, with the subnet mask, we will be able to identify the whole network range, because we'll be able to identify how many hosts can be connected valid host can be connected to the particular IP range. And for that, we have a formula. So there's a formula for how many number of valid hosts you can connect to a particular host or particular subnet mask, and that is your, where did I mention network ID and host? Yeah, the formula is your 2 to the power n minus 2, right? 2 to the power n minus 2, which is means these many valid IPs can be connected to this particular IP range. So what is n over here? Huh. Okay. N represents number of zeros, right? And why do we do minus 2 over here? So guys, as I mentioned, n is the number of zeros. So these zeros are these zeros, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So to calculate how, it will be like 2 to the power 20 minus 2, and that much of a calculation for this one. Got the idea of the whole scenario over here? Everyone for the IP? Yes or no in the chat box? Yep, only one yes. What about others? Already tired? Awesome. Awesome. Go on, everyone. Perfect. Okay. Since it's a dinner time as well, so let's call for a break right now, and after that we'll be continuing with